Okay, so since so many people have wanted a PowerPoint tutorial, remember you can use your book as a reference, but I will go through and build a simple PowerPoint tutorial or a PowerPoint project right now because that's part of your final project. Think of a PowerPoint presentation as 3x5 cards, and what you're doing is you're basically putting bullets of information and graphics and images on these 3x5 cards to show everybody, and what will be seen is what's going to be presented on the screen. Oftentimes, if you're in a classroom environment doing this, you'll be working in a collaborative environment, meaning you'll be working with 3 or 4 other students, or 2 or 3 other students, to put together a 10-page or a 10-slide PowerPoint presentation on your final project. Remember that when we put PowerPoint projects together, they are not to have paragraphs of information, but bullets of information. Short, succinct bullets that will help you identify and talk about your topic. If you've ever taken a speech class, one of the things you'll realize is that when you use a PowerPoint presentation, you're using small bits of information, graphics, audio, and video to highlight or show or showcase your presentation. Okay, so this is OpenOffice's Impress, what they call their Impress program, which is basically just like PowerPoint. If you were to open up PowerPoint right now, it would pretty much look the same. These icons are all the same. You'll have a layouts page over here, which gives you the ability to have pre-set up pages with text, graphics, or anything else over there. We have custom animation over here. Oops, that's not what we want. We have custom animation right here. If you click on that, if you click on custom animation here, it will, once we have things on the page, it would allow you to modify things like text, graphics, audio, video. You can edit how it comes in, how it looks on the page, how it goes out if you want it to go out. When we animate slides, there's 2 ways we can animate the slides. We can animate the slide itself, and then we can animate the content on the slide. So as we go through the presentation, I'll talk more about that. And then of course we have slide transitions, which is what I was talking about before, how a slide comes in and how a slide can go out. Okay, so when you open up your first presentation, you haven't done anything yet, you're going to see that you get 1 slide. We have what we call the outline slide here set up, which is just basically all the slides that are outlined. And then we have notes, handouts, and then the slide sorter, which allows us to look at all the slides as one unit. Okay, so one of the things you'll notice that we can do when we're in the slide sorter is the slide sorter allows us to look at all the slides that'll be coming up once we lay them all out. We can move them around, and I'll show you how to do that in a minute. Okay, so what I want to do now is I want to go in and actually start looking at our slide. And I want to look at slide design here, because one of the things that we can do is we can change our slide designs. We can, if we say, okay, let's look and see if we have any other slides. We have presentation backgrounds. We have presentations. If you're working in PowerPoint, you're going to know that there will be tons and tons and tons of slide designs. There aren't a lot of slide designs with this, so you can go in and put your own background. You can pretty much do anything you want. The thing about presentations is you don't want to make the backgrounds compete with text. You don't want to make them hard to read. You don't want there to be a lot of confusion on your slides. So oftentimes it's nice to really just kind of keep it subtle. And you'll notice right here, this is what one of their slide design looks like. And if I say OK, you'll notice that it goes in and it applies it to the slide. If I want to go in and I'm going to insert another slide, and the next thing it's going to do now, every time, once I've set my design on the primary slide, every time I go in to set up the slide, it will automatically insert a slide. When I go to insert a slide, it'll automatically go in and give me a slide with the same background. So that's the nice part about kind of going in and laying out all your slides at this point. The other thing you want to do is you want to have your text set up. You'll notice that we can kind of go in and play with colors here, line colors and background colors, area fills, things like that we can go in and play with our slides. The other thing we want to do is oftentimes in PowerPoint, excuse me, in PowerPoint the text is already set up. If there is text on the page, it'll already be set up for you. Now notice what I did was right here my slide was already set up, and I just came out over here and I selected a slide right here, and what it does is it goes in and it automatically puts the text over that. These layouts don't have any backgrounds to them. All they do is have the text or the font's already set up and the text already set up. So if you want to go in and you're playing with them, all you have to do is click on it and it will automatically set that slide up in that format for you, which is pretty nice because sometimes you may not want to go in and put in a text box and graphics box and all that stuff, and this already does it for you. So all I did was I went over here, and you'll notice if you put your arrow over the slide layout, it tells you that it's the title slide. This one tells you that it has title and text. This tells you that it has 2 text boxes. This one tells you that it has title only, in case you wanted to put a graphic in here or something like that. So what I did was I picked the title and text slide right here, and I'm going to double click on this, and notice this is a text box. That's the way this is set up. So I'm going to say PowerPoint presentation. And right here in where it says add text, this is the title of the slide up here, PowerPoint presentation, and then this could be the presenters. So we're going to say presenters. Oops, let's make sure we spell that right. Christine Svensson, blah, 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 and anybody else we might have. And notice that it starts to push the text all the way up. So that's done. In slide 2, I would probably start my slides. I would start putting in the text or what it is that we're going to be talking about. In this case, what I'm going to do is add text, PowerPoint presentation. Let's say we're going to talk about past presentation tools, and then here we can talk about and list past presentation tools. We could say paper handouts, we could say overhead presentations, spelling counts, we could say digital. Well, let's just leave it with the paper handouts, overhead presentations, things like that. Okay, and every time we hit enter, it automatically goes in and puts another bullet for us. If we don't like those bullets, we can obviously go in and change those. Okay, so we can go in and change these bullets to something that we do like. I'm going to obviously go in and insert another slide. Okay, and it's as easy as that. So now when I go to look at my slide sorter, let's say presentation formats, and now we can say digital, we can say video, we can say audio. So you'll notice that I'm just starting to list things here basically, and just trying to basically put a presentation packet together so that you can look at them. Here's what outline looks like. So if you wanted to print this outline, you can do that. You can put notes. So if I wanted to say, one of the nice things about when you put PowerPoint presentations together is that we can click notes here, so that when I go to present this PowerPoint slide, I can have a set of notes down here to myself that I have when I go and do my presentation. Here's my video slide or my PowerPoint slide at the top. Here are my notes. The other nice thing is I can print all these pieces out so that if I wanted to hand them out someone's interested in my notes that I have listed, I can pass those out. Here's handouts, same thing. This is basically the same area, and but in this case, the only thing that it does is it gives you the PowerPoint slide itself. Here you can put header, you can put your time, you can put anything in the footer like who the presenter is, and then page numbers off in the bottom corner. And then here's our slide sorter. What makes the slide sorter view nice is that if I want to go in and change or move my slides around, I can do that. Imagine I have 25 slides here. I'm looking at my slide presentation, something's not working for me. I can left mouse button, click, hold that button down, and move my slides. So now I can move my slides around. So if I don't like the way it's coming about, I've put all the work in there, I don't like the format, I don't like the way it flows, I can move this stuff around. So again, all I have to do is notice the black line right here. That tells me where it's going to insert it. So all I want to do now is, I'm going to go back and move it around. The way I got back to the original slide view is I just double clicked on it and it took me back to the normal view. Okay, so this is easy enough to do. We're going to play now with slide transitions. Let's look at custom animation real quick. I can go in and modify this if I want. I can play the slideshow. Here's what it's going to look like if I play it. And it just shows me that one slide. It's not going to play the whole slideshow unless I hit slideshow. Okay. And here's the slideshow. I currently don't have anything set up, so it's not going to move unless I click the space bar or unless I hit the arrow keys. Now, hitting the arrow keys forward and back obviously is going to move the slides forward. Slide transitions, here is what the slide transition looks like if I select it. All I did was I selected wipe up, and then it shows me what that looks like. I can change the speed so that it happens fast if I do it. Here it is fast. I can have it be slow. And then the next thing I can do is I can add some sound if I really, really want to. Okay. When you play with sound, be really careful, because the problem with this is that it can be very distracting. So imagine having 25 slides and all 25 slides have a sound on them. Not only, though, can I put a sound on the slide itself, but remember, I can also put a sound on the actual slide pieces. Okay, so let me go back to custom effects. I've selected this here. When I don't have anything selected, notice I don't have any effects for custom animation. But if I come here and I select this, it says I'm going to add this an effect. It's going to let me checkerboard it in, and here's what it looks like when it checkerboards in. It's very fast. And again, I can have it come and hit it again, and here's what happens. Okay, so we change it to medium, and I can do an emphasis, I can change font, I can change colors, I can do blinking. Don't do that. You can have it blink fast. We can do all kinds of little things here. You'll notice that. So imagine adding all of this stuff, and then when we have it exit, when it exits, we can have it do something. Move out, fly in. We can actually put it on a path. We can actually make it do something. So here's our presentation, boom, and it's going to circle. Okay, so these are all some of the things that you can have your stuff do if you want it to do something. Okay, so if I wanted to add that, I would add that. And again, I could do the same thing with this text box. Notice I can add the effects there. I can have it do all kinds of stuff. Okay, and then again we get back to the slide transition itself, the actual slide transition. So you can see where we can have each slide come in and do something. We can have each piece on the slide come in and do something. And it gets to be kind of overkill when we have so much happening on the slide, because it starts to lose its emphasis. Remember that we're trying to do a professional presentation that allows us to showcase the information, to talk about the information, but we don't want to detract from that. Okay, the other piece that we want to talk about now is right now to advance the slide it's on mouse click, which means you're going to sit at a computer somewhere and click it, or you'll have one of those infrared buttons that goes into the back of your computer and you'll click it and move it forward on a click. Or we can go in, I'm going to change that, believe me. We can actually go in right now and have it automatically advance after a certain amount of time. So what I want you to do is, okay, so I'm going to turn that sound off. What I want you to do is think about that. I want you to think about having, I'm going to go back to this custom animation. I'm going to get rid of that little puppy. And all I'm going to do is click on that and hit delete and take it off because I don't want it. Okay. So we go back to our slide transitions. And what you saw there was when it came up in the window here, when I had that selected, it once I'd added any animation or anything, it puts it down here in this window and allows us, let me go back through and I'll give you something to look at again. I say OK. Notice it says there's the PowerPoint, the title. Now if I come in here and I play with this, I can do the same thing. I can add an effect here. Hit OK, and now I have both of those. If I want to change the way those things come in, all I have to do is move it. Okay, I can change the order. On click, I can have it come in. I can have it go very fast, very slow, medium. Okay, so remember, we can make those changes. And then again, we can have timing, text animation. Okay. So anyway, if I want to, I can move this down by clicking the downward button so that the text frame comes in first. So if I come in, here's what it looks like. This comes in first, and then the PowerPoint presentation title. Okay, if I don't like that, I can change that, and again, the title comes in first and then the text. I don't want either of these. I'm just going to hit delete, and it's going to take it out for me so that I don't have either of those things happening. But anyway, that's how we can customize that slide. I forgot to tell you how to go in and actually change that. Okay, so anyway, back to this. Once we have set up how we want everything to come in, let's play the slide and see how it's going to come in. Crap. I need to go in and get rid of the sound. I don't want sound. No sound. So here it is. It comes in slow, and there's my PowerPoint presentation. Okay. And I had gotten rid of that text, so okay, so there it is. If I want it to, one of the things that if you're going to have it advance automatically that you want to do is time yourself speaking. Okay, time what it is you want to do in the slide. How long is it going to take you to talk about it, and put it in there. So if it takes you 10 seconds to talk about this slide or any of the slides, one of the things you can do is have it sit there. You want to apply it to all slides for the whole presentation or just this one, that can be done. So if we look at the slideshow, here comes the slideshow presentation. It talks and it should advance within 14 seconds. If you think about it, 14 seconds can be a very long time or can be a very short time depending on what it is that you're talking about and what it is you're trying to do. So think about very carefully, read your text, time it, or have someone time you while you're talking so that these things can advance when you need them to advance. Notice this one's not advancing because we only applied it to the first slide. The 14 seconds only applies to the first slide. So I have to present it now on mouse click. So as you can see, this could be very distracting if you have to sit at the computer and do that. What's nice is if we automatically have it set up and then we can just stand there and present our slideshow packet. Okay? So if I want to apply it to all slides, I've applied it to all slides now. So now the whole presentation will come in and advance every 14 seconds. You'll notice now I have a little star right here. That means I've got this slide animated. These slides are not animated, so they'll come in as one slide package. Everything comes up at the same time. This one on our first slide, remember this one comes in first, this one comes in second. So That's pretty much how we set this up for our slideshow presentation. You want to make sure you save it. Let me say real quick that if we want to insert graphics, you just do it like you would anywhere else. Let's say we're going to insert this one. We don't really have anything in our gallery, so most likely you'd be looking for stuff from your classes. Let me see. I have a Dreamweaver thing here, and I have some web images. So if I was going to insert a packet, if I was going to insert graphics, I would want to go in, and that's as easy as it is it just inserts it that way. We can have these things. All I did was I right mouse clicked on this. We can animate them. We can give this graphic a custom animation just like we did our text. Anything that goes on the slide we can animate. Okay, we can edit it, we can flip it, convert it, we can arrange it, which means what we have is we can have this sent backwards or send to back. So if I want to move this around, look what happens is it becomes behind the text. The text is in front of it, this is behind it. So these are some of those options that when you really get good at PowerPoint, you can do these things and play with these things accordingly. So all I did was, again, right mouse click, change my arrangement, bring to front. I can have a photo montage on here, which means I can put 10 photos and have them layered so that they're all on different layers, and they come in and they can come in behind a photo, in front of a photo. Remember that I can animate this again. Oops, let's go back. I can go back and I can animate this. Okay, so that means I can go in and add an animation to this. I can have it come in and do something, and there it is. Okay, so there isn't any piece of a PowerPoint presentation that you can't animate. Okay. Also, if you want to put in audio, you do the same thing. You go to Insert. Here's Movie and Sound. I had one student who videotaped himself and then put the video in the PowerPoint presentation as part of his PowerPoint presentation. It was a PowerPoint presentation on whether drugs should be legal, and he went out and he actually interviewed people and then cut the movie, saved the movie in pieces, and then actually put that as part of his presentation in the presentation. So it was real cute. So anyway, this is how we put that presentation together. We'll go File, Save As. Okay. And you'll end up saving the whole presentation. Here's wizards. That's not really going to help us too much. You all have wizards on everything, and these are basically things that allow you to use this program more efficiently, not just PowerPoint, but all of it. Now when we go to slideshow, you'll notice we can rehearse timings. So we can set up our timing. We can actually go in and time it. We can create the custom slideshow. Okay. We can make it a custom slideshow so that it exports out into its own little slideshow, saving it. And then we have tools here that allow us to go in and have galleries and play with our media that's currently in there. We can format everything in here. The bullets, the characters, everything. Okay, so we have bullets and numbering. If we don't particularly like these little green boxes, we can do something else. We can even import our own bullets, okay, and make changes. We can change the positioning. There isn't anything you can't customize on this presentation. So the only thing is be creative. Remember that I'll be the one looking at your slideshow. I've read the paper, so I'm going to know what the slideshow's about. So if you have any questions, email me. I know this is short time between now and what you need to do for your presentation, but the book was there as a reference, and this is for people who need a little something more to get the video down, to have the video presentation. Okay, so I hope this helped. Remember that your presentation is going to have. You'll want to look at the presentation guidelines as to how many slide requirements you have. You'll have a title slide, and don't forget you'll have a works cited slide. So the easiest thing to do is start there. You know you're going to have a title slide, you know you're going to have a works cited slide. Do those two first. Then go in and insert all your other slides that you think you need for your PowerPoint presentation to cover all the material that you want. Remember, when we talk about bullets, when we're talking about topics, we only want one line information. I don't want to see paragraphs in here because this isn't your paper. What you're not going to do is take your paper and regurgitate it onto a slide presentation. You don't want people reading big blocks of text on your slide presentation. That's unprofessional, and it diverts from what it is you're going to be talking about. Okay? So, again, if you have any questions, call me, email me, and good luck.